That's true. I did once. I wouldn't call it like this. This was not intentional at all. But I worked at a juice bar once. It's called like Juicy Bros,
Is
and
this
they
in the
gave me
UK
like
or in
no,
Korea?
it was in Korea, and like they gave me this like hype, like hip, like edgy uniform, whatever. They like gave me this like, one of those like snapback hats that were in style
No
a few
way.
years
Oh,
ago. That like hip
wow.
hop artists were wearing them, and then the whole branding of the juice bar was like hip, edgy for young, health conscious people to drink more smoothies and vegan shit, and some like there was this regular customer who used to come, and he's like this big bodybuilder, and um the first time I had him as the customer when he came into the store, he ordered this like whatever banana smoothie, whatever. Yeah, it was a banana smoothie, like banana protein smoothie, and
See,
and I
this
was
it's okay. It's a safe space confession.
yeah. So I
Confessions.
mean, he would never be watching this video, but if he is, I'm sorry. Sorry, but basically he ordered a banana protein smoothie, and I was still new at the time, and I was like still getting used to all the mixers and like all the blenders and how the machines were working. So I was just like sweating, like I was sweating cold sweat, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, shit, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what the recipe is." So I was just like started to do like I started to mess everything up. And when I filled the cup, it's supposed to, if I did it right according to the recipe, if the cup is like this size, the cup should be filled up to the point where it's like full. But when I finished making it, for some reason, it was like half full. I don't know what happened. So,
Wow.
so I just poured soy milk in to just fill the space up, and I just gave it to that man. And I realized
Oh,
later on, and it was like, thanks, man. And he paid and he went. And I realized later on that for this banana protein smoothie, I forgot to put banana in it. It was just it was just soy
Dave.
milk and a lot of protein powder, water
Oh,
and water and ice.
Oh.
Um, Bless that guy. He was probably just thinking like,
Was it your
damn.
first day?
No, it was just like 3
it's our
weeks in.
120th day.
It was like 3 weeks in, and I was still getting used to it. I'm such a bad bartender. I'm not bartender, but I'm bad at like doing stuff with my
Yeah.
hands.
Yeah.
I'm called poop hands in my household because I'm so
Aw.
bad with cooking and like
You're not bad with cooking, dude. You're better than me.
Yeah,
You're way
see, to
that's
good.
be fair,
true.
at uni, he would make so many different dishes, and
Yeah.
then Abby would be there with her
With your
like
lasagna.
metal, what is it? I don't even know what it's called.
Cutlery.
Put it down here.
Container with like your lasagna, and then I'd have some sort of food, and then Sue would be there with like these really like experimental dishes plus some ham on the
Hoisin.
side.
It was always ham.
Oh
And a
my god,
lot
the
of
hoisin
barbecue
sauce.
sauce. A
Yeah.
lot. You know, I was
Yeah.
finishing those like barbecue bottles, like sauce bottles, like once a week. Like I was like literally changing bottles once a week.
You and your condiments. You were, yeah.
Condiments, yeah. Sue
The
was
condiment
characterized
soup.
by a condiment queen. Yeah.
I love condiments, man. I would not like, how like meat lovers eat steak on its own. Like they just put a little bit of salt and some pepper and then eat the meat to enjoy the flavor of the meat or whatever.
Yeah.
I just eat whatever I eat to taste the condiment. And the food is just there to add some texture. Because
Add some substantialness.
yeah, just like some
Or meal.
chewing action going. But it's really
Yeah.
mainly the sauce that I'm eating food for.
Mm.
I love sauce.
Oh, we know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we had such good times around that dining table at uni.
Yeah.
Remember the first night we were Eleanor, you have all the photos and videos that we took, and I have none.
Yeah.
You have all of them.
Okay, I'll send them across.
Please
We
do.
transfer them across. Yeah.
Yes.
It just there was like, yeah, the highs, the lows, the time that we our pipes froze and we
That was like
was
highs
great.
and lows together. That was a strange time because it was like new and like, oh my gosh, this is so fresh. This is an adventure. But also at the same time, it was stressful because we couldn't use the toilet or
Yeah, I remember Abii characterizing that whole time when it was, so basically where we went to uni was in Falmouth in Cornwall, which is known, it's like one of the like hottest places in the UK because it's right at like the south coast, and we're by the beach and everything. So, and I think Falmouth never had ever got snow.
Very rarely,
then-
yeah.
I think it was the first time
very
in 30
rarely.
years that they had snow that time.
And it was heavy snow, and our pipes froze in our house along with like other people's, but I remember Abii saying, you were like, guys, it's an adventure at the beginning, and I genuinely looked at you with like
Sheer hate.
Are
Sheer
you
hatred.
okay? And by the end, because it lasted for, we didn't have any running water for
3
like
days.
3 days.
Yeah, we bought
And,
a lot of like bottled water, didn't we?
yeah, and by the end,
And I
we
bought
were...
sparkling water by mistake.
I think our neighbors gave us water, didn't they? The old couple.
Oh, wait, what was his name? Dave?
They gave us like bottled
Dave
water.
gave
I was
us-
going to buy
remember.
water.
To
I
be
mean-
fair, it was fun for the first day, and then the second and third day, it was...
I
quite
hold by it. I enjoyed that. Unlimited coffee or tea at Weatherspoons,
Oh,
yeah,
like
Weatherspoons.
£1.80.
oh my
Yeah,
gosh, that was
£1.
the name. I actually forgot the name of the bar the other day. I was trying to think it up and I just couldn't remember it. And it got me so sad. It was like, I need to remember this name of the bar because
Things, yeah.
like it's a regular. It's a regular if you're in the UK.
Yeah.
The reason I really enjoyed that time was because uni was so stressful in that second year. That first term of that second year, it was so stressful. I was not in a good place. I
I
wasn't.
mean, I could
sleeping.
tell.
Yeah, I mean, I
we
looked
could all tell.
like
Yeah,
it wasn't
we
good.
did okay.
And thanks, guys. Thanks,
Sorry.
guys. No
But you look
intervention was
great
created,
now.
but
Yeah.
whatever. And so just something to throw off the kind of routine was beautiful. I loved it.
I mean, you were so happy about snow coming, like literally like ruining your bedside.
I was a
like-
dick. I didn't close my window, and it was like a
Close your
blizzard
window.
snow. And
I mean,
it was
you were-
it just piled into my room.
If anything, you were a dick to yourself. Like you were just doing something irresponsible.
self-sabotaging my entire life.
You were so
And
happy
can
about
I-
it though. You were laughing all the way through it. So
But
I
can
was
I just
say,
if
this
Abby's
is-
happy, I'm happy.
Giddy.
Abii, you are allergic to the cold. Like, why?
That's true.
Yeah.
true.
Why
Abby's-
would you enjoy it?
Self-sabotage, man. No,
Is
I
it what
think
is it? A sadist? Masochist?
what?
What are you talking about?
What are you trying to say, Sue?
Wait, isn't people who enjoy like pain like
Oh,
called
I'm not that person. I do not enjoy pain. I just no. It's called. I have a condition called cold urticaria, which basically means I get rashes when I get cold. I have incredibly bad. What do you call it?
So there's a name for it. What is it called again?
Yeah, I didn't realize it was a name. We
Cold
just took the piss
urticaria.
out of you for it at uni. We were like, oh, she's
Sorry.
allergic to the cold. And then now you've diagnosed it with a name. I feel
Dude,
bad.
I was diagnosed when I was like 12 with it.
Cold
Yeah.
esoteria?
Urticaria. It's like that's like the name of
Urticaria.
like the high. It's like stinging nettle rash, and I don't think it could kill me, but I could die.
Abii.
I mean, like if you go skiing or something at a very like in a very like cold area, cold region, would you potentially have like some sort of a seizure or like some serious
think
allergic reaction?
Because if I'm moving about, I think I'd be fine. I think I just got to keep
Okay.
moving about. Like I was
Yeah,
scared I'd never be able
essentially.
to surf, but then when I came to Cornwall and was able to surf with like a winter wetsuit, and it's all fine as long as I'm like actually moving. If I was
Yeah.
stuck, if I wasn't moving, I'd probably die within a couple of minutes. I don't know. So no, it'd be interesting.
Couple
There's
of
not a lot of
minutes,
research.
Abii.
Don't die.
God.
There's not a lot of research about it. It'd be fun to learn about. But there's like one in, I don't know what the statistics are, but there's one in like 10,000 that have it. It's quite rare. And I met Adam at uni, got exactly the same thing. And we were like,
He knew what the
Oh,
name of
nice.
the thing is as well.
because yeah, I was like, I think I mentioned it. I was like, oh, I get a rash when I get cold. And he was like, dude,
I have cold
I have
esoteria
the same
too.
Esoteria. Should be a doctor, Sue.
Okay, I'm gonna be so
Doctor
professional.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just really rare. Anyway, I've spoken about myself too much.
Abby, why are you always putting yourself down like that?
Don't put
I
yourself
love
down.
hearing about what you think about
Thanks,
cold.
guys.
The cold. I was
Feel it
gonna
in
say
here.
something though. Oh wait, actually I was just gonna mention, like, my mom sneezes a lot in the morning because it's cold. I mean, she claims that it's because it's cold, but it's like serious sneezing, like achoo, 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 achoo. Like, I'm not even kidding, like 6 sneezes in a row and then a little bit of a break and then sneeze again.
Maybe
I
it's
wonder
just
if that's
because
like,
like your senses are coming,
Maybe it's coming
like,
too. Yeah.
oh,
coming too, and you're
You
just
should
your
sample
body's
it.
adjusting.
like
Sample
sample
it.
her like
And
sneeze.
put it in a track. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, I thought you meant like sample her sneeze, like whatever that's coming out of her sneeze,
yeah,
and
that's what
send
I
it off
thought you
to a
meant.
facility.
Oh, go all like Severus Snape and get like a test
Wait,
tube.
just
and
hold on a minute. Let me just hold up a little bag before you sneeze.
To
maybe
be
not.
fair, I had to so I took a DNA test recently, and I had to spit in a tube and send that off to Ireland.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
like
I did that as well.
like
You're
you know.
Swedish, aren't you, Elle? You've got
Yeah,
Swedish.
so it turns out that I'm part Norwegian,
Ooh.
part Swedish, part Germanic, and
Wait, Germanic. What's that?
as in
Like German.
Germany,
Germany. Oh, right. Okay.
European,
Germanic.
like Austrian,
Yeah.
German.
and yeah, and then the rest of me is English, Irish, Scottish,
That's
Welsh.
so much
Wait, so you're
cooler.
actually just like less than 50% UK, like British?
No, like it goes into like the percentages and stuff, but like part of me, a lot, like a good portion of me is like from like
Sweden.
Scandinavian countries.
That's
And
awesome.
then a bit like European, and then mainly like English,
I'm
Irish.
2% Russian.
Wow.
Yeah.
Never knew
Whoa.
that.
My
And I am-
sister's learning Russian and she told me "Здравствуйте." I don't know what it means. I just wanted to flex.
It could
Sorry,
be
go
something
on.
really rude.
Yeah, we could have just like
No. I
pissed
think
off
it was
Putin.
something. No, I think it was just like hello or either hello or thank you.
Beautiful
But-
language, but man, hard.
Yeah.
Imagine that's wow.
The language,
Kudos to her.
the letters are beautiful as well.
Oh yeah, all of that script. Soviet, beautiful.
So you're 2% Russian, and what's the rest?
Like 75% like British. I think that includes like 40% Irish and
Oh.
like 10% Scottish, whatever. And then bit of Germanic as well. I've got Germanic, and my mum's got like 1% Swedish. So I think I must have a like 0.5%.
0.5.
But it doesn't. It's so small. It doesn't come up on my thing. So I'm like, all right,
Oh.
I've lost that strand.
I want to
fun,
get a
though.
DNA test
You
now.
should do it soon.
Yeah, get a DNA test. Honestly, I would recommend it because it does, like, changing your life is a bit dramatic,
It's
but it does
fun.
genuinely like make you think, wow, like I'm not just from
Like my parents aren't my real parents. I need to find my real parents.
well, no,
Some
it's
people-
not. Oh, go on.
No, that's what happens. Some people have like done their DNA test and then figured out that their dad is not their real dad. And their
Okay, no, I
family's-
didn't go that
Whoa,
far.
that's intense.
Well, that's
That
gonna
is
happen, isn't it?
Really?
Well,
I
yeah.
wonder-
If like, yeah.
I wonder
Okay.
I wonder how I would feel if I ever find out that I am actually not my
Korean.
well, I'm pretty sure that I am Korean. But if I ever find out that my parents aren't my biological parents, if that would ever like change my perception of them. I mean, I think I would be more like disappointed in the fact that they would have hidden it from me than the fact that I'm not
fact that- yeah.
like that I'm not
That's
a
it. It's
biological
deception,
child.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I would wonder like why would they hide in the first place kind of thing.
Are you
Because
ashamed
people
of it?
do
Yeah.
hide it.
Oh yeah.
People do hide it until like they kind of like I don't know find out by chance, by luck. But yeah. Oh man, I think I'm just having this thought because I just had a row with my mom. It's just I mean like it's I mean it's just not it's nothing. Oh, I just got a gift from Zoom.
Yeah.
Running out of time.
Unlimited minutes. No, it says I've got this meeting has been upgraded by the host.
Oh, yeah, it says we
unlimited
removed
minutes.
the 40-minute time limit on your group meeting. That's awesome. I mean, I was just gonna I was just because like if you're not a premium member of Zoom, you need to like restart the meeting after 40 minutes if you go over it.
Yeah.
But I guess we're more powerful now. We got immunity to the
Immunity to Zoom.
To
Right.
the slaves.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, I don't think there was anything that we both did wrong. I think it was just like the fact that we're spending a little too much time nowadays in the same space.
Mm.
Um, and our house is small, so it's like we're
Mm.
bound to, you know, cross each other at some point.
Mm.
I think that's the thing. I've been having some trouble navigating my space lately. I don't know if you guys are experiencing something similar because you guys are in lockdown as well, but like I've never been that kind of person who's like greedy about space, like, oh, I need a bigger house, I need a bigger like this and that and better this and that. But like I feel like I am slowly starting to figure out that there is some sort of like a minimum space uh that enables people to like function a bit more properly. And if you're not in that kind of environment, then it can give you a level of stress from time to time.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think there's this thing of I've noticed it. I mean, there's 6 of us at the moment,
That's
6
true.
adults, and
Yeah.
there has been for like a year,
Mm.
and that is not like healthy, especially if most of you are related. It's not a healthy dynamic at all, especially if most of you are unemployed or like have lost your jobs,
Or
and you don't have
working from
anything to do,
home, just
or
working.
working from home.
Yeah.
Like, it's just tense, It's just, and there could definitely be moments where you're just at each other's throats, because it's not, usually, I don't know, at this age, maybe you've moved out, or at least people who are older have moved out, and being the youngest, I guess, I don't know, it's not great, and I think a lot of people are feeling that strain. A lot of people are feeling that strain, but yeah, it's hard. It's a
Yeah,
weird time.
Corona blue, I think they call it, like depression that's
Mm.
kind of mainly caused by the, COVID situation. But like the thing for me, what sometimes concerns me is that, like if there are people who are experiencing this whole Corona blue because they're working from home, like they never like because they've never had work they've never worked home like this before at their houses before like this. Like when COVID is over, they would be going back to work, right? Or, like
Yeah.
this whole COVID situation is unprecedented. And when this is over, like some people expect things to go back to normal, which means more human contact, being in environments where you're more socially active and being in groups and, being able to meet friends and everything. But like for me, sometimes the concern is because I've now kind of formed this lifestyle as a bedroom musician and bedroom artist, like I'm concerned that I'm going to be left behind in this remnants of COVID when this is over, because it's
Wow.
like, I'm concerned of being left behind. Like what if when this is all over and people are going back to work and
Yeah.
like getting back to schools and being able to interact with people again, like what if I'm still in my room and experiencing the same thing that I've experiencing
Dude,
since the
that's
beginning?
fascinating that you say that, actually, because it's weird when everything did start getting locked down. I actually felt a sense of peace because finally everyone was experiencing what I was always experiencing, of just being in my room,
Right.
or like just being. I mean, I did get a job at the start of that lockdown, but still, like, it was I'd been spent like months just in my room with nothing to do, trying to figure out what the hell I was going to do in my life, getting really, really depressed. And then suddenly everyone was in that situation. And I was like, oh my days, I actually feel weirdly liberating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt quite peaceful, which was kind of very selfish of me. But yeah, I feel the same thing when things start going back up again. I feel I'm just going to kind of be left behind, and suddenly everyone else is going to carry on
Go
with their
back to
lives, and I'm just going to be in that same hole. But
I think you'd be surprised how differently things will turn out when things start going back to normal. There are multiple ways. I don't think it will be a kind of overnight thing where everyone starts going back to work.
Yeah,
all at
it's
the
not
same
like
time. It will,
Independence Day where people throw their masks in the air. I don't think.
yeah, it
I mean,
won't be,
as much as I wish that would be the
burning
case.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
it won't be like a sudden, oh, now I've been left behind kind of thing. It will be a very kind of gradual step back into society. However, I think like placing a positive spin on it, I actually think it will help you and maybe motivate you to like stretch yourself further than the bedroom. If you know what I mean? Like maybe to the studio,
Not through to the kitchen.
Yeah. Like you'll travel a bit, it will maybe make you think, okay, well, I've been a bedroom musician for like over a year now. Maybe I should start exploring what it would be like to go to a studio, or like go just to a different workspace, like even if it's just like a collaborative, like even if it's a warehouse down the road, like a construction site, and you just sit there and take all your equipment with you. Just like I think it's just a different, or like, you know, a public toilet which has really good acoustics, and you just sit in there and you just sing away. I think that would, like anything, I think you will find yourself thinking, because I know what you're like, Sue, as well. I feel like you get bored of your environment easily, and that you'll want a change. So that, you know, you're comfortable now, but I think
I am slowly moving into that state of wanting like something a little bit different.
Yeah, and that will just naturally happen and come with time. But there's no, I think you shouldn't get anxious about kind of the first day of when people start going back to normality, because, you know, you might not be ready then, and that's fine. But you just got to do what makes you happy.
Yeah, I mean, that's the case. Like, I worry in advance. I always worry in advance. Like, even when, like, so unnecessarily, like, I don't need to worry about this because there's no guarantee that that's going to happen. And surely, most likely, the situation's going to change, even when that time hits, when COVID inevitably goes back to, everything goes back to normal, and I'm, you know, still in my room. It's likely that like something's going to come up that would make me have to change the environment and, you know, try new things. But that's all the things that I know in my head, but I still do worry about it nonetheless.
It's so hard to link the head and the heart together, I think. And you know, hence like Overthinkers Society and overthinkers in general, it's really hard to sync those up, because, you know, I actually was watching or like my flatmate told me about a video that Will Smith did, because he does like a lot of like motivational speeches and things like that, and he was talking about like the concept of fear, and how he was like out one night with his friends, and they got a bit drunk and stuff, and they were talking, they basically riled each other up to go skydiving the next day. And at the time, in like the moment, they were like, yeah, let's do it, like skydiving, how bad can it be, etc. And then when the morning came that they were going skydiving, as soon as he woke up, he thought,
that's Will Smith. I think that's Will Smith.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, this is a speech from Will Smith.
Oh, right.
He was basically saying,
I know you're listening, Sue.
Yeah, it's great.
Hey, I'm just going to coin that real quick by just flexing that I know who it is.
Oh, it's Will Smith.
Emphasize that point. And yeah, the morning he woke up, he was basically himself, like really just not
scared,
really scared. And as he was getting close to the moment, like he turned up at the skydiving center, he thought, oh, surely my friends won't be there, like it's all a joke, we're all joking. Anyway, they all were all there, and then like they started getting into like the jacket and the suit, and he thought, oh, soon enough we're going to be like, okay guys, let's just go home. And then they got in the plane and they started going up, and he was gripped with fear. He was thinking, oh my God, like, what have I got myself into? And he remembers standing on the edge of the plane, like about to jump out. And he was terrified. Like, he was so consumed with fear. But as soon as he jumped out, he was like in complete bliss. And he was basically saying he had such an epiphany of what fear is, and that there's no fear isn't like, there's basically no point in fearing something which is in the future, because it hasn't happened yet. Until it happens, there's no point basically in fearing it, because it isn't happening. So why should you be worried, if you know what I mean?
I think that theory is definitely something that's worth keeping in mind with. But the thing with that skydiving story is, for me, like, this is a whole different realm of fear and worrying, because it's like, now, as an overthinker, as an over anxious person, like, I'm thinking about the practical, like, logistic accidents that can happen from it. Like, it's not just my fear of skydiving from a very, like, some ridiculous height, but it's like, I'm thinking about the accidents that happened. I'm thinking about the death rates. I'm thinking about, like, the freak accidents.
Yeah, however, though, that's again, to back up Will's point, like, that's happened to other people. It's not happening to you. So it's happened so, like, obviously that's really bad that that's happened to other people, but you almost kind of need to learn to disassociate yourself with those other experiences, because until it's happened to you, you don't really truly know fear. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So like you can think about all those anxieties of, oh well, such and such died last week when they jumped out the plane, and such and such broke their ankle when they landed, but that's all around that individual. Like, they might have not pulled the parachute properly, or they might have been messing around when they were landing, and that's why they broke their ankle. But you've got to, like, trust in your instincts, and you're a very capable person. See, like, I don't think you'd be like, if you were put in a plane and told to jump out of it, I don't think you would be messing around.
Wear my parachute.
Yeah,
I just jump and like, oh fuck, I forgot to wear my parachute. Imagine.
To be fair, Sue, I can also see that.
It's like oh my gosh, the dread.
When you get to the airport and you don't have your passport, and that you get to the edge of the plane, you don't have your parachute, you're like, oh no.
That's something like that happened with me, actually. I was like, I had to go down to, this was when I was living somewhere else other than Seoul. Like, I was living in a rural part of the suburban? Suburban? Wait, well, like the
Suburbs.
rural part of the suburbs.
True.
And I had to like ride like a 5-hour train down from there to Seoul for like a college entrance interview or something. And I realized that I forgot my photo ID, like all of my IDs, all of the documents.
Sue.
And like, I was in a position where I could have just not been able to do the interview, but they were like really forgiving about it. And apparently, like, I could get like an alternative identification within Seoul of the day, so I just did that. But yeah, anyway, just a little throwback.
Classic Sue.
Yeah.
Classic
I mean, but like, imagine if you like jumped off a plane and you realize that you have forgotten to wear a parachute.
So I think you would have checked 1,000 times before you did that.
I would have checked.
That's the lovely thing about the analogy of skydiving as well, is I was speaking to a friend who was in New Zealand about a year ago now, and did it, and he said, like, especially when you're doing it for the first time, you're strapped to someone, like, and I feel like that's a real nice metaphor when you're facing fear in your life, is that you're with someone. Like,
if you're going down, you're going down with me.
Yeah, like strap yourself to someone, like be accountable with someone, and just have that someone or some people who will, not suffocate you, but will hold your hand whilst going through it. He said, I think he was like strapped to this lass, and she was saying, he was like, oh, how many parachutes have you ever done, or skydives have you ever done? She was like, oh, this is my like 5th today. And he's like, okay, whoa, I trust you, like, so it's, these guys are so
professionals.
Yeah, and it's just nice to know that, yeah, when you are facing fear, because fear can be so paralyzing, but it can also be motivating. It's like this weird paradox. I definitely experienced the paralyzing side a lot more than the motivating side. But yeah, fear's an interesting one. I'd love to talk more about fear at some point.
That just reminded me, the problem with movies that cover like world apocalypse is there wouldn't be a move like the movie would be so short if everybody on Earth just died instantly. But the movie exists because the plot revolves around there being people who survives and people who dies from the world apocalypse. That's the thing. Whenever I watch these world apocalypse movies, I would be like, I would not want to be in a situation where people are fighting for their lives. Like, you either die from this apocalypse and you either survive from it. Like, if the time comes where the world kind of ends, or it's the beginning of the end of the world, or whatever, or like some sort of a dystopian world, I'd rather much just have the whole world just disappear. Like, the whole, I mean, maybe from
Yeah.
like an evolutionary point of view, that's a bad thing to wish, because like you do need some sort of a colony of survivors, or colony of people who have all the resources and all the all the remnants of the 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 valuable parts of humanity and nature to really continue the legacy. But from a human, like, very emotion oriented person that I am, I just kind of want everything to be fair, and
Yeah.
like people just go, everybody just goes. Everybody
Yeah.
goes when the time comes, you know?
I probably, I mean, if like, for example, if there's like a nuclear war, we're basically back to the Bronze Age. How long before people start creating podcasts or, YouTube, it's a really weird thing. But I think it says something about the human condition and humanity in itself, that we're just survivors. Like, we find ways of progressing and surviving. I mean, we're an odd race. We're a cool race, but I don't know.
We're
More
very good
about
at
podcasts.
adapting. Like I think we're quite malleable in the sense that, you know, like we adapt to things. And it's the same with, for example, if you're an overthinker, you find ways in which to control that, or like to try and like cope with that. I mean, I'm saying it as if it's a bad thing. Sometimes, like, I think overthinking is actually a really good thing to an extent, because it means that you
care.
Yeah, but also you're covering, like, just relating it back to fear, you're covering all bases. Like, you're making sure that in whatever scenario happens, you know what the outcome will potentially be. But I think, when it's overthinking in a more negative way, you find ways to adapt and cope with it. Otherwise, you wouldn't survive. And of course, there are people who, become seriously ill from it, but you just find, like, I'm imagining that you find ways to cope. And yeah, you just,
The thing is, I think overthinking and you just being a thinker, like a deep thinker in general, and being, pensive about everything, and, being a problem solver and always thinking about ways to better and be better, and like, and just, thinking about what will be the best way to do something in every situation is a good thing, in terms of, like Abby mentioned, in terms of the big, looking at the big picture and looking at the evolution of humans. People like Elon Musk, like, the minds like that need to exist for humanity to progress.
well, exactly,
And
that's what I mean, like, all covered, all
yes,
bases covered.
but the thing is, like, I really wish that I could be a human evolution oriented person. And I wish that I was somebody who cared about, going to space and, like, surviving as humans. But I am, most of the time, to be really honest, I'm just so consumed with myself, like, not in a self-centered way, but like, I'm feeling depressed as frick. Like, and I'm just trying to get through this.
Mm.
And when you're going through that, like, you have no
Yeah.
other things in your head other than trying
Yeah.
to not be depressed, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have any capacity in your brain to think about, this is good for
Mm.
the humanity, and this is good for, I don't know, just,
Absolutely.
uh
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, when your
progression.
mental health is shocked, you can't think about other things. You just can't. Like that's
Yeah.
just that is the coping strategy of you are just constantly thinking, and it doesn't help when it's quite a toxic positivity when people are like, you just got to, don't be so selfish. Where actually you're just kind of like, yeah, dude, I can't help it. Like I am consumed by this. Help me not be consumed by it.
Yeah.
Help me look out. But yeah, no, I wouldn't beat yourself up, man, because it's such a, I think it's also a trait of artists where you are kind of in your own world and you are
Yeah.
making things that you enjoy, and have a piece of you in it that you can't help but just be thinking about that.
But
Um,
that's where, to loop back to your thing, Abby, of your skydiving analogy, like you're strapped to someone and like that dependency on people. I think actually for people who overthink or have very kind of go quite easily into deep thought, like Sue was saying, I think that's when it's really good to release it with other people, not necessarily in therapy. Like that's the formal thing, I guess, like a medical like term for it.
shrink.
But
Yeah,
like
but just
just
like this, like with you
yeah,
guys right
just
now.
speaking to
Yeah.
people, and when you actually start saying it out loud,
Mm.
you start to like everything like makes sense and is just clearer, and then you go away from it feeling 1,000 times better in I don't know, like, and then you think like, oh yeah, that was really good. And especially when you're talking to people like similar age to you, or really close people like family or friends,
Yeah.
like I think everyone feels better after they've spoken to their friends or their family, because it's people who are also going through similar things to them and think in a similar way to them,
Yeah.
and it's or know them really, really well. Like my parents know me very, very well, to the point where even just from my facial expression they'll see if like they can read my mind, kind of thing. And that's quite comforting to have that there, because you know that someone else can share that load with you,
Yeah.
and then unload it with you as well, and it just feels like such a kind of full circle. And that full circle can take a 20-minute phone call, or it can take 20 years, but like you just
20 years sounds a bit
well, I don't know, I'm just
intense.
saying, if someone was really in a
Yeah.
really bad state
Yeah.
for however long, but then you always find you come out of it, and like we were saying, humans adapt, humans are malleable, we're survivors, etc., and you just find a way to do that. So
That's the thing, because like I think the physical signs that you show, sometimes people do well at hiding it, but for me, like, I can't hide what I'm feeling that's coming out
yeah.
of my face. So
Yeah.
if I'm having a crap day, I would literally look like crap. Like, I would literally look like I just chewed a piece of crap. And
Didn't
and
realize it was chewy. See.
I don't know. I mean, I actually don't know. But
Joking.
the thing is, like, today, for instance, the reason why I had a row with my mother is because I was having that crap face. And, like, I can't help it, but she hates it when that happens. She hates it when I show some sort of negative emotion. She believes in that, even if it's to your family or to your very close ones, you have to always be in a poised attitude, and you have to kind of keep it to yourself.
Ouch.
And, like, I don't think it's bad parenting or whatever,
I
but
think it's
I think it's
cultural.
just like a yeah, Korean
Yeah.
culture thing where, you have this kind of expectation for being polite, so polite to a point where you are kind of expected to hide your feelings even to your family
Mm.
and your closest friends or families or relatives. And that really frustrates me. And today, like, especially, I just was not at a place where I could just
Mm.
be sitting there and let my own member of my own family tell me that you need to hide how you're feeling, because
Mm.
I can't. I really can't.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
Oh man, that
and
sounds so hard.
yeah, it's sad. It's sad because, they're one of the closest, one of the only few people that I can really trust. And
Mm.
for me to always feel like I need to hide something is like, I
Mm.
always need to be happy or whatever. It's kind of a bit, it doesn't help.
No,
But
if you're suppressing, yeah.
yeah.
But that's why you have us as
Yeah.
well to like
It,
vent to.
the
And
thing is,
sometimes, go
sorry,
on.
go on.
Well, I was going to say sometimes, like with parents, it's obviously your parents and your friends as well, of course, don't want to see you upset, but especially I think your parents, um, if especially in today's society, if you're looking slightly down or if you're not looking as like alert, parents are always like, why don't you look happy? Why don't you look alert? You're 20, however old, like you've got your whole life ahead of you. And sometimes you're just like, oh, like I really just don't like CBA today, but, or sometimes you're genuinely stressed about something and it's from your parents' point of view, they just think like, you have nothing to worry about, like wait till you get to our age kind of thing and you have a mortgage
Yeah,
this
you
and that kind
gotta,
of thing.
we
Whereas
have it tougher.
sometimes, yeah, we have it tougher. Whereas, when you're with your friends, but at the same time, obviously your parents can be really encouraging. However, what I'm trying to say is that at the same time, I think your friends can sometimes, obviously depending on how close you are with your friends, but your friends can be sometimes a good outlet to, if you don't feel like you can vent to your parents, friends are really good because they know that they have more time in a sense for you and to hear like what you're going through because they might be going through something similar to, or they might be feeling something similar to. And also, but even if they're not, it's comforting to hear that, like especially in today's society when everyone thinks that everyone's perfect and living their ultimate dream life, actually it's really reassuring to hear when people are going through stuff that's not so great.
Absolutely.
Because it helps you, it helps others. I like to prepare others for how they might feel or like how to cope if they're experiencing that thing. Sharing is caring. So
yeah, and that it's okay to feel crap and just awful. I think I like working in the like what would you call it, coffee business? No, what would you call like waiters? What are they
Barista
called?
business, like,
the barista business.
yeah.
Oh, what's it called? Service, like customer service.
Oh,
That's
right,
what I'm saying. Sorry, yeah. You kind of, there is that kind of, if you're just feeling awful that day, or and you have to go into work and you have to put on a face and you have to be good, like nice, and that is, I hate that because I'm there like, dude, all I want to do right now is bang my head against this wall and you're telling me to tell someone to have a nice day. Like, this is real, like practicing like self-control. And it sucks, and I don't think that's the way people should be treated at work, and you shouldn't be expected to be happy all the time. I think there is just, if you're feeling crap, man, just, I know it's hard, it's easy to say, but it'd be lovely to have that environment where you can just tell someone, you know what, I'm not feeling great, I just don't want to talk right now.
I mean, I think
And
that's what therapy is for, kind of, in a sense. And I do think that there is a balance that needs to be kept. Like,
yeah,
even if you are feeling crap, there are definitely occasions where you do need to kind of put up a happy face and kind of, show the world that you are okay. You are doing okay, in a kind of a more reassuring way. But I do also agree that we also need to make ourselves a safe haven, if you will, where we can really just put on our basic resting bitch face and just be okay with it and be expected to just be at our most comfortable, like, resting bitch face, crying, whatever, anger, whatever, just show our true, like, emotions. And that's friends, family, and I think therapy to a certain extent, like I just said. But I think the thing about therapy is, I think, Abby, you've also tried therapy, right?
I'm seeing therapists at the
Times.
moment, actually. Yeah.
Right. But it's just like, I've tried it a couple times as well, but The thing is, I think that therapy is a big part about getting help from therapy, from therapists, is lies in your own mind whether or not you're ready to get help
Oh
from
yeah.
these people.
Mm.
And like I'm just not ready because
Yeah.
I don't trust these people. I don't trust, like, I know they're professionals and I know they're trained in it, but it's actually that sheer fact that they're trained in the psychotherapy kind of whatever, the psychological
Yeah.
field that makes me not trust them because they're like sitting there, no matter how
Judging you.
understanding
Yeah.
that they seem to be, they are sitting there as a mental health professional.
Mm.
And I don't like that. I think,
Yeah.
I always need that hint of I always need that touch of familiarity and like friendliness, like
Oh yeah.
that trust,
I totally see
and
that. I think it definitely, if you are at the point, because speaking as an individual of who you definitely, yes, I agree with you. So you need to figure if therapy is for you, you need to come to a point where I need help. You need to acknowledge that yourself. But then also it can take a while to find a good therapist.
yeah.
Like one person might not work for you, and that's fine. Like have a look around. I remember one person I saw in Falmouth. It just was not a good fit for me, and I just ended up wanting to punch her in the face. And I'm not a violent person, but I really, really just wanted to smash her little. Anyway,
Was
um,
she being like
she was lovely.
condescending?
No, she was absolutely lovely. I think it just told me about how I was feeling more about what she was saying. But yeah, just didn't get a good vibe.
Yeah,
But
I think it's just
yeah,
yeah.
it does, and it's not for everyone. Like especially in America, you see America, and they're pretty much all medicated. Not saying medication is bad for mental health at all, but I definitely think there are other outlets you could pursue before you try and if you do eventually go on to medication. But yeah, like you see American, typically most of them medicated on like antidepressants and stuff, and they all have a shrink, and you go to the shrink, and you vent your life, but then nothing changes in your life. So there needs to be this like practical element of, okay, well, what is actually unbalanced in your life, and how can we change this to try and make you more you, instead of having to just go vent your problems and then come back to the life that you hate
Right.
anyway. It's yeah, shrinks are interesting. I yeah, therapy is I can understand why people would be very cautious and skeptical actually about therapy, because it's
Yeah. I mean,
also
the thing
expensive.
is, yes, expensive as well. I don't, yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing about therapy as well. Like not everyone can afford it
Yeah.
as well. Um for me also, like there's a language thing as well. I'm not good at expressing my feelings and just expressing anything in general in Korean actually. Which is ironic because Korean is my first language,
Mother
but
language, yeah.
like I'm spending so much time spent speaking English in Korea nowadays that I feel like speaking Korean is getting more and more rusty for me. Uh
Mm,
so like there's not a lot of English speaking therapists here in Korea. But also, I think that's there's a thing about keeping balance between figuring out the practical side of your life and maintaining a proper mental health within you, because if you just focus on getting your mood elevated internally and there's nothing that's changing on the outside, then maybe potentially that could leave you feeling like, okay, what's the point of it all? But
mm,
I do think there comes a benefit of viewing the world differently and viewing the same consequences differently depending on what kind of mood that you're in. Like the
mm.
same situation may not feel as devastating if you're in a good mood and in a good mental state.
Yeah.
And the same goes with, like, it could be if you're in you could be a perfectly good situation subjectively, objectively, but it could feel like the end of the world, if you're not
Mm.
mentally
You're not
stable.
there.
Um, I'm starting to feel like I have depression. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I
Same.
feel like
Oh.
I try not to like self-diagnose, I mean, we've all been there. We find a lump or something. I don't know. Have we all been there? We find a lump or something somewhere,
Yeah,
and then
sure we have.
Google and it's like, that's cancer. But it's like, oh, man, it's like I feel it. I feel it in my gut, but I don't want to. Like it's like I don't want to go to the mental doctor or whatever to get a confirmation that I have depression, because I can always almost, already feel it, kind
Yeah.
of thing. It wouldn't change unless I decide to get therapy, I guess.
So you know what? I think you know how you fit, regardless of whether you have depression or not. I think that you know how, like, when you're going through those phases and how to I think with you, I get the impression that you are very good at accepting situations. Like, you don't necessarily fight against them. Does that make
No,
sense?
I'll let it flow. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you let it flow. And I think obviously that's different for everybody, but for you, I don't necessarily think, like, you're almost just saying, what you're saying is confirming how you deal with it. So, like, I don't think therapy is for you, because you just would fight against that, and you'd always be questioning it, and you'd feel so judged, etc., all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas the way you deal with it and cope with it, I mean, obviously it could be finessed or whatever, but you accept the situation and you let it flow, and you are also really good at talking about it. So, like, when we have previous phone calls, whatever, you say, guys, I feel like I'm going through this phase or whatever, and that's great, because you're talking about it, you're letting people know about it, and you're getting it off your chest in some form, and then that phase passes and you're back. Like, it's just, I don't think, I think almost sometimes you, like, not you in particular, but I'm just saying you as in a general term, like, you can dig yourself into a hole more and more by thinking, what help do I need? What help should I be going to therapy? Should I be doing this? Should I be thinking this? But why am I thinking this? And then the more you think and think and think like that, that's when you get deeper and deeper and deeper into this rut. Whereas you already know the answers, really, and
just gotta write it out.
Maybe this is a really naive, I might be being so naive here, but I think if you know what works for you, that's great. You just got to keep doing that. But if you just got to try and find what makes you happy and what uplifts you, etc. So Abii's been interrupted. But I can just imagine what she's saying right now. That's why I'm laughing. But yeah, I think you've just got to keep going and going, and like keep doing what makes you happy, and that's the only thing you can do. And then obviously, if nothing is making you happy and you're like, there's absolutely nothing left on this earth that's making you happy, then yes, I would then suggest to you go and see someone to seek guidance if you don't know the answers. But so I feel like you know the answers.
I know the answer because I know this phase is going to pass. It's just that the waves of ups and downs have been more irregular and sporadic as it than it has been ever. Like, I was literally just elevated the whole day, and then like when I lied in bed yesterday, I just started crying. I don't know why. I was elevated, completely full of joy and happiness and hope for the whole day, and then just like that.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I don't know what happened. And then, like an hour after that, I was feeling fine. And like today, I was feeling crap. And then now I'm feeling great talking with you guys. But I don't like that's the fear. It's like, I don't know how I'm going to feel in an hour or 30 minutes. And
that sounds exhausting.
Yeah. The fear of not knowing, like, that's an hourly thing as well. Like, if this was like a thing where it was like a weekly thing or like a monthly thing, I think I would be able to at least have some time to brace myself for some impact. But since like there's some extreme ups and downs throughout the day, I feel like that's putting me in a more anxious position.
But are
No.
you sitting there? So what are you thinking? Because you're saying, there's the fear of you thinking, how am I going to feel in an hour, in 3 hours, in whatever? Are you sitting there hourly going, oh, I'm really scared of how I'm going to feel?
I
at
do.
2
I do
at 3
feel.
o'clock? Because that, if you think, I almost just swallowed a fly. That was really scary.
I did that once. A fly came, I literally inhaled a fly through my nostril, and it went through my yeah.
Oh,
I think came back out through my mouth.
Oh.
After it gone through your entire ingest. Like a game.
Sorry. It's gone now. I hope I haven't swallowed it. Okay. Anyway, what was I going to say?
You were talking
Mood
about
swings.
the pace of the
Extreme
mood swings.
mood swings.
Oh yeah, if you're doing that hourly, and I presume, for example, let's allow you think about that for 5 minutes hourly. That is a lot of time in the day that you're just sitting thinking about how you will feel. And that is exhausting. I agree with Abby that.
I hate doing that.
But what brings that on? What brings that on? Does it just suddenly pop in your head and you're like, oh, I'm really anxious about how I'm going to feel in an hour. Sorry if I don't want to sound, this sounds so naive, but is it just like a thought that pops in your head and you're like, oh, how am I going to feel like in an hour? Or is it is there something that triggers it and then you start, it's like a worm, brain worm thing, and you're like, oh, I wonder.
I can't quite put words into what the thought process is actually like in a succinct way, because it's not something that I consciously think about. It just pops up and then it just goes for however long it goes, and then there are dips, I guess, where I can at least able to focus on work or doing something productive. And then there comes another dip or a rise or whatever, where I cannot do anything and I'm just sitting there. I mean, I don't know. It's I mean, the thing is, it's so awkward for me to talk about these kind of things because I feel like maybe that's another Korean in me, but I just feel like I'm being rude and I'm not supposed to do it. I'm not supposed to. I feel like I'm whining and I'm not supposed to whine.
No, man. I mean, that's your culture coming at you. But
Is
it's
it?
same, that would be my culture coming at me as well. Of I think that's just society saying you've got all this stuff, you don't need to whine, but you're not. You can't help how you're feeling. And I think part of trying to not conquer it but trying to cope is to acknowledge that of I can't help how I'm feeling, this is how I'm feeling right now. But there's also these pressures of massive expectations that people have or we have on ourselves, which are never realistic, and then we feel sad when we don't reach it. I was going to say something and I can't remember what I was going to say. It will come back to me.
It's I think it's really for me the latter of the expectation that I put on myself that really gets me more than ever. And the thing
we
is,
all have expectation though. I think, and that sounded so dismissive, me being like, see, we all have expectation, just move on. I'm joking, it wasn't like that, but we all have expectation, as in I think expectation is a really important thing to acknowledge, because that is a massive thing, I think, to create for everybody on the planet, whether you overthink or whether you don't overthink. Expectation is dangerous in the sense that I think we're always expecting the best of ourselves, which is good, obviously, because it keeps us motivated and driven. However, it can be really dangerous if you don't meet that for whatever reason, because then to you, it feels like a personal assassination on yourself, because you're like, well, I should have achieved that. I wanted to achieve. Why didn't I do that? Or why didn't I say this in this particular way? Or why didn't I execute this piece of work in this particular way, like I had envisioned, or why didn't I say this thing that I wanted to say to this person in this particular way, how I had expected to say it, but it actually came out in a completely different way. And even though that different way might have been like the best way, because it didn't go the way you expected, you're beating yourself up about it, because it's like there's some sort of pre-guidebook that you've written for your life, and which is written daily, and if you don't meet that, you're like, well, that's not the way my life was written. Like I know that sounds so deep and so over the top, but that's the only way I can kind of but like
there's also sorry
well no I was just gonna say, and like with expectation comes anticlimaxes as well. Like if you don't meet an expectation, it feels like such an anticlimax, or expecting something to happen and it doesn't happen, and it's such an anticlimax. And it again, with the expectation, it drives a lot of anxiety and a lot of adrenaline, because there's this pressure to meet that, and then when that doesn't happen, it's like this drop, like a drop of adrenaline, a drop of like anxiety, and you kind of go into like a bit of like a swinging ball effect kind of thing, you know? Does that make sense? I feel like I'm really not making sense, but you kind of feel in this limbo of feelings like, okay, that went fine, or that didn't go fine, but should I be feeling good about it or bad about it? I don't know, but it didn't go the way I planned, so how should I be feeling? Like, do you see what I mean? So I'm doing this, but I don't really feel.
And there's also that as you said, like toxic positivity of, oh, but your life's great, or you should be feeling like this, as you say, Sue, and people are like, you should just be, you've got it, like you got a good life, you should be happy, or you should be sad. And that's another
big thing.
It's incredibly toxic.
You know, it's like I'm not like, you know, I resonate with celebrities, but you know how, you know, when there are big, you know, public figures who go off about you know, how much anxiety that they suffer from, and they have depression, it's like, you know, number one things that they say they also suffer from is the fact that people say that you don't deserve to feel sad, you know. And you know, I'm nowhere near that kind of high profile A-listers or anything to be able to relate to that kind of scale, but I think I can kind of relate on a smaller scale, as from a day-to-day basis, where, you know, my family's like, Sue, you're fine, you're doing fine, you know, you're doing great, and you're, you know, following your passion, you're following your dreams, so what is there to be sad about? But it's like, but you know, I still feel crap.
Still feel like that, and it spirals as well, because then you're like, yeah, you're right, well, they're not right, but you're thinking, okay, so I shouldn't be feeling like this, but I am, so I feel guilty. And then you start hating yourself, and it just becomes this like
cycle,
end cycle.
You know what, as well, this is a slight sidestep from this conversation, but it's still relevant, I think, to an extent. I was speaking about this with someone the other day, and I was saying how I think in some ways, obviously it's great that people talk about, you know, their emotions and everything, and, you know, vent and not publicize, to an extent publicize how they're feeling. However, I do think with things like Keeping Up with the Kardashians, for example, or reality, should I say the name? Was that bad that I said Keeping Up?
I will vomit in my mouth. I have just slightly vomited in my mouth.
What is it?
No, but was
just
it bad that I said the name of Kardashian?
Oh, right. Oh yeah.
That's fine.
Okay, nothing against
I've
the
never,
Kardashians, but just reality shows like Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Maybe that was better, because I feel like I've just illegally put my foot in it. Oh well.
No.
But I feel like
other equally awful reality TV shows are available.
Reality TV shows, but like Keeping Up with Kardashians, for example, is coming to an end now, so who cares?
Is it?
Yeah, they've wrapped the final season.
Seems like somebody has been watching.
Anyway, no, I haven't. I don't watch it. I just know from my Instagram.
Seems like someone's been watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
No, I'm joking. I actually
We're
don't
all
watch
friends here.
Okay. I just see it on my Instagram. I don't even follow any of them. Anyway, okay, sorry, sidestep. But
I guess you're right. I believe you.
well, I don't actually watch it because my flatmate hates it, so I can't watch it anyway.
Okay.
Good for her.
But basically, I think that I think that reality TV shows, which admittedly, sometimes, like, a lot of people watch reality shows for the drama. They want to see, the big explosions and the drama that's going on there, and a lot of things like tiny conversations or conflicts that would be very much discussed, like, in a calm, resolute way, or people going through, like, just minute things are blown up, and for the purpose of drama predominantly. However, I feel like that does then seep into society and exaggerate people's emotions. So if someone's feeling slightly negative about something, or if someone does something which they disagree with, immediately you think, well, you want to, like, almost creates dramas in actual reality, because you've seen it on a reality TV show, and to you that's reality, and not that you're emulating that, but that sort of, like, attitude seeps in, and I do feel like it doesn't help with day-to-day emotions / relationships between people, because things get heightened very much quicker than they would if you didn't engage with that. And I think if you took the reality stuff out of it, it would be like you wouldn't, maybe your emotions wouldn't be as heightened or exaggerated as they would be if that hadn't influenced your life in a subconscious way. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I
no,
wanted
absolutely.
that to be really analytical, but no, I just feel like that was pointless.
No, it warps your perception of how you're supposed to experience it.
And I experience negativity as well, because I think when there's a glimmer of negativity in a reality show, they blow it up so it's super negative. Like, it's not, it goes from this maybe slightly negative thing to a super negative thing. And I think that's like that's what I'm trying to say, like, it seeps into reality subconsciously, and something that might be such a small problem to you or to someone else then suddenly gets turned into this tornado of, like, super like heightened negativity. And because you just think, well, these celebrities are dealing it with it that way.
Yeah, I think the opposite also goes true as well. Like, television is something that we always watch, and social media as well, and like what we see on social media, like the good things, the people who are, and not just like, I'm not just talking about fancy mansions and like luxury holidays or all the typical, positive stuff, fake positive stuff or whatever that we see on social media, but also like in terms of behavior as well. Like, Eleanor, you just mentioned, there's a show called I Live Alone in Korea. That's literally translated I Live Alone, and it shows like that.
Oh, where's she gone? Abii. It's because we're talking about reality TV, so
she just decided to check out.
Yeah. She's not interested.
Let's just continue in the meantime. Let me just at least just finish the story. But basically, there's a reality show in Korea called I Live Alone, and it shows like the day-to-day life of celebrities in Korea, and actors and actresses, singers, etc., etc. And I don't know about other people, but my emotional state when I'm watching these shows is that these people who are coming on these reality show is so productive, like so energetic and filled with ideas to as to what they can do for the day, because it shows their morning till night kind of thing. So it's like they're being so, not necessarily always happy, but they're so productive and so full of energy, and they seem to have, friends that they can talk, like they can meet up with and drive around town or whatever, or
Mm,
go on little mini holiday to the nearby beach or whatever.
yeah.
And it's like it's not necessarily like the big mansions and fancy clothes and fancy food and luxurious holidays that gives me some sort of anxiety when I'm watching these shows, but rather these kind of day-to-day life things where, people seem to be having a fairly functional life. And I don't feel like I have that. I feel like, I'm a room hermit and I don't have friends that I can meet up with. I'm obviously talking with you right now. But so I'm grateful for that. But, I don't have friends to meet up with. And I in Korea, and I'm kind of in this small room that I can't seem to keep the balance between work and life with.
Yeah.
And, all these things. And I feel like I'm like deprived of these like basic stuff, like socially at least. But I guess I'm also like right now experiencing this kind of uh therapeutic effect of venting it out to you guys, because as I'm saying it, I am also reminded that there are parts of the world where people have it worse, you know?
Yeah, and when
Yeah.
you say it physically gets out of you and you can let it go. I think that's like, I love having a good vent, and I would say I'm quite vocal about how I feel.
Yeah.
Because I like that. I like to feel quite light, in the sense that, not that I'm kind of giving other people my problems, but I quite like to just say how I feel, so I don't internalize it, because I like that feeling of keeping light and keeping, like, okay, I've said it, I've just said how I feel, and that's it, I've let it go, kind of thing. It's out there, it's floating, it might dissolve, but I know that's such like a kind of hippie approach to it, but I think it is the act of like saying something and getting it out there and letting it go. You've admitted it, you just kind of said and accepted it, you've said it out loud, and then it's like a little,
Like a
out
little
into the
part of
atmosphere.
the
Yeah,
negative
like
part of me is out.
yeah,
And
like a little speech bubble
but
kind of
I'm
thing
scared that
coming
it's gonna
out.
come back inside.
Yeah, just have to
Like, what if it comes
open the
back inside?
window.
Yeah,
Let it
what if
out.
it's like yeah.
But obviously, like, reoccurring feelings will creep up again, but you just gotta, instead of internalizing, the way I see it is, instead of internalizing it and letting all those speech bubbles pile up inside of you until there's no more room and it's all consuming. I mean, this is a very visual approach, but like, if you imagine all those speech bubbles crowding up, so there's nothing else, there's no other space to think of anything else, it takes a lot more energy to like let them go, kind of thing. Whereas if a feeling comes up and you're like, okay, yeah, like, and I say a feeling, like, you could just say I'm really tired, or I'm really excited, or I'm really feeling crap today. Like, when that speech bubble comes up in your head, it's just best to say it, because then there's one less speech bubble to take up space. Does that make sense? That is so visual, but
No. I think I get what you mean, but how do you do it though? Like, what is your practical method of doing that? Is it like you call up your friend and you kind of have a little short chat about how you're feeling, or is it like you do some sort of exercise, physical activity, or you eat, or
I think I'm quite um
I feel like you would be
I do a
more
bit of
like verbal side. I feel like,
yeah. Oh
yeah.
yeah, like I'm definitely more so I feel like I don't internalize things really, unless I have to, and obviously, like, it depends on the context. I'm not gonna like verbalize my thoughts if I'm like
alone,
if it's not
or
the
like
time.
walking down the street,
or like
or in the tube.
or like I'm not gonna like, I'm just saying,
Abby?
Abby just messaged saying the Wi-Fi is ducking
Aw.
up, resetting it. Anyway,
I mean, tell her that she's. I mean, yeah, okay.
okay, yeah, sure.
Can we like text in the middle of this? I don't know. I mean, like if this was like a normal FaceTime or whatever, we would just be,
yeah, just like
just
give me
call
5
up
minutes.
again. But
She'll be fine, she'll get back on. I'm sure she'll know. But I think I'm quite good at compartmentalizing my thoughts. So I'm quite good. I think I got into the habit of, because my family, my parents have really influenced me in this way. My dad is very logical, like very practical, methodical, and that really influences me in how I approach and think about things. So I think with my mum is very like very
emotionally engaged.
Yeah, emotionally engaged. And not that my dad isn't, that sounds wrong, but like very
more so.
Can really like really, really empathetic and things like that.
Yeah.
So both of those things really help. But especially when I feel like I'm going into like I really don't like a panic about something, like getting into this like overthinking state, I really kind of think, okay, before I have a vent or whatever, or get it out there. Sometimes I'll just walk in the kitchen and be like, oh, I'm just really like not having a great day. And I think everyone does that, or having a great day or whatever. But I really try and rationalize it in my head first and think, okay, I'm feeling like this.
Is this worth discussing about?
Yeah, is it worth even taking up my time? Like, or what's gonna happen? What's the worst that's gonna happen? Or like, what can I do about it to make myself feel better about it? And I go through all of that in my head, like, all of that. And then if I'm still feeling rubbish about it, if I FaceTime with friends, I'll talk about it. Or if I'm FaceTiming mum and dad, I'll talk about it. But I never, because I'm very consistent at checking in with myself, and I'm quite like, sorry, this is such a ramble, but it's so hard to explain.
Don't worry, it's Overthinkers Society.
Hi, Abii. We're just talking about me at the moment.
Right.
I mean, don't be shy. Just imagine this was our dining table, just without the dining table.
Oh, we talking about yeah, because we don't do that enough, do we?
It's just typical
Well,
Eleanor.
actually, funnily enough, we're talking about how I vocalize things a lot. Like I talk about.
Yeah, we can relate to that 100%. You just like, and the thing is, like, I've never missed our dining table more than nowadays. Like, I just miss it, where I can have a space where I can just come down from upstairs and expect you guys to be there doing your Abby's frozen, doing your essays, or I don't know, whatever. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this because this is funny.
She looks really funny. Maybe this could be the cover photo.
Could be. She's permanently frozen.
But I think I'm compartmentalizing is a good, and having a ration, like really just thinking, okay, like tacking it head on. Like I get to the point quite a lot. Like I'm not really getting to the point with what I'm saying right now, but I get to the point in my head like quite a lot, and I'm quite direct with myself. So but talking about it is she just keeps going
in and out.
Talking about it and verbalizing it definitely is my thing. Like and that doesn't mean that I have 45-minute chats with people every single night. Of course I don't, because that would, I'm not always feeling like that. But sometimes you do have to have those really deep chats, and say with my friends, like, and I'm there to listen and be on the other end and the other side of it. But yeah, definitely. And like what I was like at uni, like with my work-life balance, like I always compartmentalize things, like with work and home, and just splitting it up like that into more manageable sections, so that it's not one big
Yeah. And that's
thing.
hence why people are having such hard time maintaining their mental health in terms of work and life balance, because that's all gone due to
Yeah.
COVID. You know, that balance.
It's super hard. Yeah. And it's hard to like, especially because I'm like, you know what I was like at uni, I work in the studio and then when I get
Completely
home,
down. Yeah. Unwind when you come back home.
Real line there. And it's hard because now I'm working from home, and not only am I working from home, but I'm working in my room. So to me, that's even more of a blur because I'm working in the place that I sleep, which is just like, and I remember it when I was at school, I used to do I never worked in my room. I never revised in my room. I always revised in some sort of communal space, like the dining room or the kitchen, or, you know, some sort of other space. So yeah, it is a real shift, but again, you just have to think, okay, how am I feeling? What can I do about it?
Yeah, just
that sounds so simple, but
try your best, I guess. You really do your best is the go-to thing, I guess, in all situations. You know, really, you don't have to be the best version of yourself all the time, but just do your best and, you know, try to
and
find
don't
ways.
don't hide from how you're feeling. Like, I think as soon as sometimes it's really easy when you feel something, and I know we're mainly talking about negative things, like negative emotions here, but like you know, you shouldn't, like I was saying, I kind of don't think, oh, I'm feeling this, oh, I'm going to really suppress it. Like, I'm very accepting of whatever comes up and just dealing with it, because I find it much quicker to just deal with it that way and like pop the bubbles one by one.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Just do it as they come up. So yeah, but yeah, I miss our dining room chats.
I do too.
They were the best. Maybe we should have started a series at uni called the Dining Room Chats instead of DMC. Where have you been? I
don't know. My Wi-Fi just hates you, Elle. Really, as soon as you start talking about you. I don't think so.
I think it does that with a lot of people, to be honest.
I think we just had like a power cut, and so I just reset everything.
Oh,
you're just in this in this extreme 180p kind of like quality right now, but it's okay.
Am I?
No, it's okay now, actually.
Well, to be fair, Abby, we've finished talking about me now, so that's probably why your Wi-Fi's come back on.
What were we saying about you?
No, we were just talking shit about you. Well, we had the chance.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And Eleanor had a lot to say about you. I'm just kidding.
I had a lot to say.
I'll just watch it on the.
Wait, Abby, talk to the mic because we can't hear you.
It literally.
Talk to the mic, Abby, because we can't. Abby, microphone. Your face is in the wrong place.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
But I don't think my microphone's connected.
No, it is.
It is connected for sure.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
I'm sorry.
I can hear you. We can hear you.
If it goes off again, I don't know what to do. I'm linked on a hotspot on my phone, so I don't know what's going on.
Actually, can we talk about your phone, because I just noticed something.
Oh, mate,
what is that?
Hell. Look at this, cracked as hell. Look at that.
Abby, you got to get a new phone. I mean, actually, that's not that bad. I've seen worse. I've seen worsely cracked phones. I mean,
I'm gonna wait till it gets really bad.
Do you have an iPhone?
I am now back to an iPhone, guys.
Eleanor, yay. I was just gonna say, Eleanor, I was so proud of you for like switching to Android, but you know, I mean, I have nothing against iPhones.
I
just never used it.
I'm back with the Uber bright case, as bright as my jumper.
Is that the one with the magnetic stuff? Like,
so it's the 12, and you can like
charge it when you just that's genius. That I mean, I love Apple, but
that's so future.
Relationship with those guys.
I mean, it's kind of weird how like this whole like futuristic stuff where you can charge your phone magnetically, you would have thought that this would have, I kind of feel like this could have come like earlier in
Yeah.
the early days of smartphone. But you know, like I don't know, like Back to the Future, I think they had the year like 2000. I've never watched Back to the Future fully, but I think the year that they mentioned the future side of things was like 2000 and I don't know, 8 or something. Have you
Yeah.
guys watched Back to the Future?
No,
I
I
haven't.
haven't.
It's on my list. I just don't watch a lot of films really. I need to because that's what I want to do.
Yeah, I really need
I
to
wanna
start
watch.
watching more. I mean, Emma and I, as in flatmate Emma and I, are watching. I mean, this is pretty sad. I mean, we're watching Bridget Jones.
Hey,
I love
Bridget
them.
Jones is fine. It's great.
I
Yeah.
love Bridget Jones,
Classic.
and because I hadn't seen them, so we're on the third one now. But
Oh, wait,
I
they had the
love
third
her
one?
so much.
I don't know.
Renee,
Zellweger.
Zellweger.
Yeah.
She is the best. Like, she's such a good actress. She really is, and like her British accent is
She is spot on.
the
Wait,
bee's
she's
knees.
not British?
No, she's
No, she's
American.
Oh, I
American.
hadn't realized. I
Yeah.
didn't know. I didn't know. I had no idea. That's awesome.
Yeah, she's great. I love her. Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah. Well, if we're talking about things we love, I've been re-watching The Office US.
Oh, wait, I thought you were going
I
to say The
love
Lord of
The
the Rings, but
Yeah, actually, can we just take a moment to flash back to the Lord of the Rings that
where
you
Abby just half
the
forced us to open our
extended-
eyes for 12 hours
the
Yeah, and
extended
adventure.
versions, and also Game of Thrones.
Yeah, which you didn't get past the first season.
Sue, I literally remember Sue being like, what's going on? And it was like the 8th episode, or like, who's that? Who's that?
Yeah,
was
but
so
that's because Sue,
confused.
you
So
skipped
funny.
like 2 episodes, and you just can't do that with Game of
Abby,
Thrones.
like, okay, Lord of the Rings, fine. I'm like kind of thankful for you for doing that.
You're welcome.
But the Game of Thrones, I
Yeah.
really just cannot get my head around it. But I wonder if I started
I can
from
understand it.
like I may have been more interested if I started from the more interesting seasons, but also that would have taken away the fun of knowing all the plot and what the plot actually is from the beginning. So I don't know.
Yeah. Also, you'd have been so confused.
Yeah, I would be like,
What
okay,
the heck?
like everybody says
Abby-
this is shocking, but I find no shock from this scene whatsoever.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
What else did we watch? Did we watch
We had movie night, didn't we? Where we had I've got my projector. We put a projector on the wall of our living room.
yeah, but what else
And
did
would
we
get-
watch?
We watched the Christmas movie. What was that one? The one
Love
that where
Actually.
we
Actually,
Love Actually, the classic that we watched around Christmas time, and the one that I recommended that I find is hilarious, but you both fell asleep midway, which I was very
what was
offended by.
that?
That one was Get Smart with Steve
No,
Carell.
wasn't it?
We didn't watch that because I was just going to bring Steve Carell up because of The Office.
Office, yeah.
And now you mentioned him, it's just meant to be.
I swear to
love
God,
him.
we watched
definitely
it.
fell asleep. I definitely fell asleep
Yeah,
doing it.
you
We
fell
did
asleep.
not watch
Melissa-
it.
We did watch it, Abby. It's because you fell asleep in the middle.
I wasn't there. I can't have been there.
Yeah, you were there. You were there.
No, I wasn't.
Okay, maybe it was Melissa. I don't know. I don't remember.
Well,
Yes,
no,
it
Melissa, our other housemate, took a photo of me on that sofa asleep, and
Was Abby next to you?
I do.
I wasn't there. I would have remembered because I bloody love that film. So
Yeah, no, yeah, I
I
don't
just
think
love
she
Steve
was there.
Carell.
See.
Okay.
Yes,
fine.
Sue. What else?
I
did
mean,
we
I'm
watch?
not
We
the
watched
person
Hot
to
Fuzz.
argue with
Oh, I
something
fell
that I
asleep
can't
at that.
prove. So
Yeah, well, all I remember about Lord of the Rings is that every time Gollum came on the screen, Elle was
No,
like,
you're just
yeah, he got creepier and
you
creepier as
just
the films went
couldn't
on.
see him.
Happy.
What's happening
He
with
went
Abby?
into some alternate. Oh, she's frozen again.
It's
true, yeah.
It's
Great
See,
true.
Abby.
Abby? Yep, Abby's just permanently smiling now. Another screenshot. Here we go.
Yeah,
She looks so
I
happy
keep
though.
freezing, man.
Yeah,
Okay,
you just
she's
looked
back.
so happy just now.
That's-
So that's good. Because the one before where
Okay.
you froze, you were just looking really confused, and your eyes were just like your eyeballs were like behind your lip. But you looked fine just now. You looked okay. You're like just smiling. That was great.
Okay, so
I don't mind.
let's talk about highs and lows of living together and uni.
Or just
Oh,
living
wow.
together at all.
I missed
I
what
miss
you were
living.
saying about the dining room stuff, but I just love that. I do miss our dining room stuff. That was
Yeah.
fun.
I do wish if you
Oh
were
my
to.
God.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
sorry, go on.
Highs and lows.
Go on,
This
see.
is the problem with Zoom calls. Like we miss the timing every single time because if we were in the same room, like we would have had like that physical like body language of like, oh my God, and I would be like, okay, go on, kind of thing. But like with
Oh,
Zoom, there's this like weird time difference where
I know.
like, oh,
It's so
wait,
fun.
oh, what? Okay, hold on. I was just talking for like 30 seconds, but there was a lag, so you can like continue now, I guess. But now you've forgotten what you were gonna say.
Sorry. See, carry on. What were you going to say?
Well, now I've forgotten what I was gonna
Oh,
say.
okay. Well, I'll just say what I was going to say. Remember the Tammy situation?
I wonder if that poster is still
yeah.
there.
That
So
is the
basically-
best video I have ever got. And when I went to uni the next day, everyone was like, I was like, oh my God, did you see
Because
the
it's on your
video
Snapchat,
of
wasn't
last
it?
night? Yeah, and on my Instagram or whatever. And everyone was like, we were so confused what that was last night, like what was going on. And I was like, guys, you had to be there. Honestly, it was the
geography
funniest
joke.
moment.
Well, what was the context of it? Because it's become like almost like a household meme for us. Basically, we got like a message from a woman called
No.
Tammy.
I was
That was like
I
an
was-
essay, like a
Yeah.
1,900 essay comment post on Facebook. And it wasn't like
I was doing research basically. No, yeah.
So funny.
I was doing a project about female drummers as part of my
Right.
degree. It didn't turn out to be a great project, to be honest, but the research was really fun.
Yeah.
and
I
on
would
the
just literally
whole-
got onto all of these Facebook groups of like loads of female drummers, and we just came across some wacky American characters. And I think I asked something about like, why aren't there more female drummers? And then this woman called Tammy just replied with this hilarious but also kind of deeply sad like post.
Yeah.
So
It
funny.
was so funny.
Typical
She just kind of wrote a very short biography of her life, autobiography, and we printed it out and posted.
Can you quote some of it, Sue?
Sorry? We posted on our wall.
Can you quote any of it?
I do not remember. I do not remember what it was, but it was just so long that it filled the whole A4.
Yeah, no,
it was so long.
Oh, it was a whole A4, and it was.
No, it wasn't.
And Tammy became our hero.
It was more than an A4 because we had to print. You had to do it in sections.
Onto 2. No way. Oh yeah, it was. Yes.
Oh, so you shrunk it down and then fit it into an A4 sheet.
No, it was like it went over 2 A4s, I think.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. I'm trying to think of the things that were on it now, man.
Like the blues band, and they wouldn't let her play, and then like the old lady who died on her birthday, and then
yes, the old lady died on her. It was her birthday.
And then she was like never say never, never say
die. That's the main thing that just like kept me going on my lowest days. Tammy's quote.
Funny.
It doesn't sound very funny.
Never say die.
You have to put it in context. Maybe Sue will post that video one day, because Sue has also got a piece of toast in one of the videos, and Sue, you're like leaning over Abby's screen, like hysterically laughing, obviously. And
the thing about that video though was Abby was just laughing hilariously reading through Tammy's comment, but aka autobiography, but also like I'm in the background eating toast and I'm not laughing because that was the 16th time you guys read through that paragraph. And so for me at that point, I just didn't find it very funny, you know? And then you guys still had it going. And that's the context.
I couldn't get through it.
And you have this toast, and I just zoom in on your hand because you're leaning over and your toast is like, you're like waving it, and the toast is like waving in the atmosphere. It's so funny. You honestly have to see it. But
you were at the stage where I couldn't get through it. It was so, oh man, it was so funny.
It's
take me back.
It's become a big household meme for us. And man,
Huge.
Tammy will be Legend of Tammy. I wonder if that printed out version is still pasted in the
Probably.
house.
Tim probably took it down, didn't he?
Yeah, they ripped
Tim.
it down.
Oh,
But
Tim.
Abby's
Gotta
laugh
find it.
probably characterized the house as well, because Abby, when you
wheeze.
laugh, your the wheeze. That has she frozen? She's frozen.
She's frozen again.
Okay, well, the wheeze, because I just thought she looked really like she
It's
didn't
because
know
you
what I
just
was
started
doing.
speaking again, Eleanor.
Okay, I just meant
It's okay. She'll come back.
fine. Yeah, it's because I started speaking. But her wheeze, and I remember we were in a lecture once, and this guy came in from a really like prestigious like TV production company, and one of the things he did was he created the back in the 60s or whenever, when Britain was at threat of a nuclear attack. This guy on his screen he was in the lecture, and he had this nuclear like
oh yeah, we talked about this.
And I was sitting next to Abby in a lecture, and the guy went from this nuclear like warning sign to his desktop, which was full of these files, quite like it was just like very, very confusing to look at, quite stressful to look at, because I thought, how does he locate all his files? Anyway, and so
and
it was a very somber atmosphere as well. People were not laughing because like maybe people were just suppressing their laughs.
Nuclear war, you know?
Yeah, and also to be fair, it was quite a long one. Like I think it was like 2 hours long or something.
Yeah.
And by this point, everyone was getting a bit fidgety. Anyway, so I turned to Abby when he like had just switched from the nuclear sign to the desktop, and I went, oh, that gives me so much anxiety. Talking about the desktop, like talking about the messy desktop. And Abby turns to me like 5 seconds later and goes, Eleanor, I don't think we're going to have a nuclear attack anytime soon. And something switched, and I thought, no, I wasn't talking about having a nuclear attack in the UK. I was talking about his desktop, and there was just this complete misunderstanding, miscommunication. And Abby wheezed for a good minute long, and I just couldn't contain myself.
Across
the lecture, because she just, when Abby wheezes, like the whole, it's like an echo goes across the whole lecture theatre.
It's like suddenly your voice is on like one of those what is it, the things that augments your voice, one of those like big microphones that people use for riots and stuff. Yeah, like a megaphone. When you wheeze, your voice is like in a megaphone volume. It's so loud.
Yeah, and the same thing when we were in another lecture, and I don't know why I sat by you, because it's just dangerous to sit next to you, but I was sitting next to you, and I said to you, please do not laugh, because it will really just set me off, because I won't stop. When someone laughs, I just can't stop laughing. And this guy, as soon as he opened his mouth to speak, this lecturer, the lights went off, and as soon as he spoke and the lights went off, Abby just completely lost control of her body and started wheezing. And I thought, what the hell is happening? Like, why are you? And this poor guy who was on our course next to us, shout out to Matt Cannon, I felt so sorry for him, because he just had to put up with me and Abby were laughing hysterically. And and it kind of set the whole row off, kind of thing.
It was so funny. It was so funny.
Yeah.
He was a lovely guy. I think it was his accent that set me off, because I just wasn't expecting it, and I was expecting, for some reason, I don't know why, a British accent, and I think he was speaking in Danish or something, and I was gone, and I just didn't expect it. Beautiful accent. But I
was literally turning to Matt Cannon to be like, can you like help me?
Favorite thing. One of the favorite things that ever happened in a lecture was when I pegged Ashley.
That was a wonderful project that you did. You didn't intend it to be a project, but you basically just put a peg on everybody's shirt tail, if that's what it's called, but like the back side of.
I've done it since I was young. I didn't know people weren't familiar with it, which I did call it pegging, and then was told very, very probably.
It does
that
sound
is
like
more
some
of a
sort of a
sexual
sexual, like,
It
it
is.
does sound like a,
Oh, it is.
because they
Oh,
have
it
like
is.
the word dogging, right?
Oh,
In
yeah.
the
No,
UK.
Sue, this is a legitimate
Oh,
pegging is a legitimate word for something quite raunchy.
oh, what is
I
it?
didn't know that, obviously. I don't know. I'm not gonna look it up.
What is it?
I don't know, genuinely don't. But they were
I mean,
like, yeah,
you
maybe
would
don't
have
call it that.
known what the definition is if you do know that it's some
No,
sort of.
because I said, oh, I just love pegging, and Steve House was like,
I love that. Steve House. You
Sure.
call it Steve House. Oh my god.
and so I was like, okay, well, maybe I should call it something else. So I did. I think it was like the Wood Lane peg game, and I just put
That's-
clothes pegs on, people, and oh man, it was so fun. And I got Ashley, and Ashley was one of our lecturers, best name in the world, Ashley Rudolph. We had a gold mine of beautiful names in our lecturers, but I pegged his shirt just like before a guest lecture, and I thought we're going to be safe because he's not speaking. It's the guest lecturer who's speaking. He just little did I know, literally, he then gets up to introduce this guest
with a
lecturer
peg hanging from
with a
his
peg
back
hanging like
side.
quite quite.
Was it a
it
big
was
peg? Was it like a
obviously.
big, like?
No, it was a
big-
smaller one.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, just
but
like a
he kept
tiny.
like turning around. He kept turning around, and oh my days, I lost
Everyone
it.
was laughing to that. Everyone noticed
Yeah.
it.
Really?
And
I
then
didn't
Nikki-
notice it, or was I just not there at the?
Oh, I saw it, and then Nikki was like, "Actually, you've got a peg on you," and he just went, "Abii." He took the peg off and was like, "Ah."
He
was
should
fine.
have-
He took it in
Oh,
great
Yeah.
humor. He did. Yeah. He did.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I mean, the thing is, I've always heard about like British humor being like a bit dark and a bit like sarcastic, And I don't think I ever felt that from you guys or
Okay.
people that I encountered in the UK, actually. I thought it was
Oh
quite
no,
lit.
hang on a minute. Sue Lee, are you forgetting the time that Abii planted walkie-talkies in our room and you thought it was a national alarm, even though we don't have a national alarm? That is dark /
Is that dark
creepy.
though? Like isn't that just literally
Was it
funny
dark?
though? Like isn't that like
Yeah.
for
I
somebody
was
to
so
implant?
freaked out.
I mean,
That's
im-
dark.
I don't think I would have
Oh.
panicked that much if I weren't naked and I had just taken a shower.
I timed that perfectly, man.
Did you know
Oh.
that I had just taken a shower?
No, I didn't. I planted them. I planted those walkie-talkies in your room like hours before you were in there. And then I took the moment and was like, I'm gonna scare them.
Oh, I miss pranking. I really miss pranking.
Yeah, Sue, can I just say, you think we're dark, you're flipping dark.
Am I
Because
dark?
that video of me coming out the loo and you are standing there and
Yeah, but
screaming
pranking,
like
that's
a
pranking though. Pranking isn't dark. It's just literally funny to watch people get surprised.
Sue,
Sorry,
I
or
thought
is
there was a
that dark?
burglar. I thought there was a burglar. And the fact is, I screamed. It's quite funny because when in the video, I screamed so loud in your face that you got scared. So you are like, I think you.
I
fall
got
to the
scared
floor
by
and your
scaring
face-
you.
Yeah, like your face is
My
looks quite
days.
scary.
I think even if I do end up living with you guys or anybody else like in the same household again, I think I'm gonna take it easy with pranking though, because
Yeah.
the other day I heard a story about a man, like an old man living in his house, and his son-in-law came all the way from like I don't know, Norway or something to surprise his father-in-law for his birthday. And he came to America, which is where his father-in-law was living. And then like this had to be like a full-on, he planned this as a full-on surprise. So he didn't tell anybody that he was coming over to surprise his father-in-law. So he like rung the back doorbell, and then like when his father-in-law opened the door to see who it was, he sprung out from like the bushes to surprise his father-in-law. And at that moment, my gosh, this is so tragic. The man shot his son-in-law with a shotgun, and he just died instantly.
Oh,
because
flip.
like
Well,
it was a
that
back door and it
twist.
was apparently late at night as well. So
Why would you do
I
that?
thought
Like,
you were
why-
going to say he had a heart attack or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought
no,
he
it was
like
the son-in-law that actually got killed
Yeah.
by his
Flip.
father-in-law. And it's like, this is America. This was
Yeah,
taking
it's just
place in America, so it's like guns are allowed or what. But I feel like the similar things could have easily happened if it was a large house with a back door and it was the same setting. And you could have just be holding a knife just in case if it was somebody dodgy, you know? Even if it's not just like a
to be
shotgun.
fair, like, you know, that is a really tragic story, but I would never use the back door at like ring someone's back door at
Yeah.
night. Like,
Yeah,
that
it
is
probably should have been a front door, but
Mm.
also who's to say that the man wouldn't have shot if it were even if it were the front door, because it's like the man, you know, would have his son-in-law probably would have sprung out from the bushes anyway, and it would
Mm.
probably have shocked him just as much. But that was so tragic. And that got me thinking, like, if I were to live in a big house, and if I were visiting somebody as a surprise in a big house, I wouldn't like I would try to like give it off or something. Like give
Mhm.
off a little hint, you know, like, you know, maybe expect something tonight or something a bit more, you know, not as abrupt. That really scared me, that
Yeah.
story.
I like harmless pranks are fun. Harmless.
Yeah.
I'm not really much of a pranker, but harmless
Like
ones are
sneaking
fun.
in a walkie-talkie in a room where your
What's not fun
naked
about
roommate is just trying to enjoy
Oh,
just enjoy her
man, we had good
evening and,
laughs.
you know, trying to unwind for the day and go to bed, and
We
you
had such fun. You
alert
guys
at
are so fun. I
national.
remember like the first time, I think it was the first day we moved into that house, and I was counting out my bottle tops that I've collected.
oh
And you just
yeah.
sat down and started counting them with me.
Oh no,
Mm.
that
Great
wasn't like right
friends.
after we moved in, but I remember that because that was the day I got myself a crazy haircut.
Yeah, and I
Oh,
had
okay.
to. I thought Sue was being ill in the bathroom. So
Like,
'cause
oh,
I was
don't
like,
come
Sue,
in.
yeah, because
I'm
the
not
way you
okay.
were saying it, you were like, yeah, you were like, oh no, and your
Oh
voice as well. It
no.
sounded as if you were wretched, like you were
Yeah, I was
throwing
like,
up.
oh
So I
no.
was like, hey Sue, just let me know if I can get you any like water or anything, whatever. And then I think I was thinking she's been in there for like 4 hours. Like, is she okay? Like, should I call 999?
Yeah, it was
And then so I went upstairs and I was like, Sue, are you okay? And you're like, yeah. And I was like, are you throwing up? And you were like, and you said something like, I want to, or something like that. And I was like, okay, so is she ill? And then I was like, well, can I come in and see if you're okay? And you went, oh, okay, just a minute. And then you opened the
I got
door
into
and
my
there was this
clothes, I think.
massive white sheet on the floor with all of, well, not all of it, but like the majority of Sue's hair on this white sheet. Sue there with these scissors. And I was like, Sue, I thought you were
It was like a
throwing
kitchen
up.
scissors as well. It was kitchen scissors as well,
Yeah.
not just
And I
like
had
Oh my
like a
days.
craft
the
scissor.
bluntest scissors ever. And you were like, I just kept cutting it because it wasn't straight. And it was, I think it was slightly shorter to where your hair is now, but I had to like trim the back and everything and
Yeah,
tidy it
yeah,
up.
and you like
But
really calmed down my little anxiety attack that I was having, because it's just like I thought for a moment I had to shave my head because it really got
the
that
way
short.
the way you were going to see, you basically would have cut it all off. But I remember coming in thinking, okay, like relief that you weren't being violently ill, but also the fact that I was a bit in shock because before that you'd had quite like long hair, like my length hair.
Yeah.
And so you'd cut it, like you'd cut all of this off kind of thing. And yeah, I was also a bit like, okay, whoa, hold the scissors, just let me
Take
do
care
my
of this.
thing. Yeah, take care of it.
I'm not somebody who gets like emotional with haircuts. I'm not attached at all to my hair whatsoever. Like because apparently people cry when they get a haircut because they're like, oh, I don't know, like I've got attached to my hair or whatever. That I heard from the lady who was working at the salon the other day when I was getting my haircut now. She's like, loads of people come in for a haircut and they cry a lot. And like their moms cry as well. It's weird.
Welcome to Korea.
Yeah. But I've never had that. But that moment when I had just realized that I'd given myself a terrible haircut, I couldn't help but panic. Like, you know, I wouldn't have mind minded like shaving my hair, even shaving my head. But just at that moment, it was just sheer panic. Like it just didn't go as planned.
Mm.
But Eleanor, you did a great job trimming it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Elle. You did all right with Sue's hair, not mine.
Oh
Not
yeah.
mine.
Oh, wait, did
I was
she-
in a rush with yours. I had to leave and go and socialize.
Oh yeah, no, it
it's
wasn't a
fine.
haircut. It was what was
A braid.
the braid?
No,
What
I
is
was
it called?
I was putting in my dreadlocks. And it was
I
it was
didn't
just-
want to participate in that anyway. So you got forced in.
Yeah,
But
Eleanor
look.
had to part your hair for dreadlocks, and it was a mess. Even in my, that's proper dreadlocks. That's awesome. That's awesome.
So no, I was parting because I wanted to section it out like fairly neatly, and I was like, "Oh, could you help? Because I can't do a straight line." And I just did it like thinking, "Oh, I'm just gonna do it real rough, and Elle will straighten it out." You were, to be fair, yeah, you were going to a party, and I was like, "No, it's got to be straight. It's got to be straight." You were like, "Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine." I looked in the mirror. No, I got Sue to look at it.
Yeah, I took a
Take a
picture of it.
picture.
Yeah.
I took a picture of before and after. Sue then neatened it up. It was not straight, Elle. It was
Yeah,
not
well,
straight.
no, there was
was just,
some
like, diagonal.
line there. Yeah, there was a line. Okay.
Yeah, there was a line indeed, but it
tried-
was diagonal.
Oh, there was
which
a
should have
line,
been
yeah,
straight.
but it wasn't
Well,
straight.
It was like a
right,
little
I'll-
wave as well. Like it was supposed to be straight, but it was like a wave of
I
parted.
don't specialize in dreadlocks. I only specialize.
Yeah, I
in
think you're just better
It's
at
like
like
a tectonic
cutting.
plate along my ear.
Would you ever
Yeah,
go
I
full on dreadlocks, Abby?
I actually I added 3 more the other day. Like 3 more at the back. So yeah, it's exciting. I wouldn't go full though.
Oh,
Mostly
why not?
because I'm white. It's a lot of effort because my
Oh,
hair
is it
doesn't
just
naturally
hair
dread.
type?
So I have to like dread it every time it kind of grows a bit. I have to basically knot it at the top again so that it will continue to dread. So the bottom bit is dreaded, but the top bit will continue to grow straight because I've got straight hair.
Would you
So,
consider that your hobby? Sorry, I'm just in search of a hobby right now, so I'm just like trying
So,
to
I don't
grasp
think you'll
that.
be able to dreadlock your hair right now.
Dreadlocks
No,
not my
probably
hobby.
not the most ideal condition, but
No, I don't think they're my hobby. They're just something I love.
because you
But
were
I don't
like
think I'd go
when I was living with you, you were like that was the infancy of your dreads that you have now, but like you were needing it. You were like you had equipments for it, and you were like poking at it constantly.
Yeah, I
While we
think
were
that's
eating, while we were talking.
Yeah, in the early stages, that's definitely what I did. Now I'm a bit better at making them, so I can do it a bit better now. But like, yeah, I don't know whether.
Oh, they're just not my thing.
I was like, get them out my face, you weirdo.
I mean,
love
no
them.
offense to anyone who has them, but I just would.
They're not-
yeah,
you wouldn't
the
like them,
thing
would
is-
you? That's fine.
The thing is, I cannot. Granted, I cannot imagine Eleanor with dreadlocks.
No,
It's just
No.
unfathomable. Like I cannot.
I think we'd have an intervention if you decided to get yourself.
I can imagine you in full on like because you're strawberry blonde, if that's what's called, right? Or it's
I don't
called.
think I'm
She's
strawberry
blonde,
blonde.
she's
Wait,
blonde.
Yeah.
wait, I
Strawberry
thought
blonde's like
strawberry
ginger.
blonde.
I'm like
Oh.
Ginger.
a blonde.
Oh, okay, sorry, never mind. I thought
Yeah.
strawberry ginger was like the between brunette.
I mean, maybe
and-
my jumper's reflecting on my hair and it's giving that impression, but
It does look a
Illusion.
bit orangey, but I can't imagine you like full on like yellow, golden blonde. I can't imagine.
oh, I
you.
found when I was
Younger.
so when I was born, I had jet black hair, and then when I was like young, like 4, 5, I had like bleach blonde hair.
Wow.
And then it
bleach.
turned a bit more
And then it's
brown.
got a little bit of brown in it now, but it's like highlight. I haven't had highlights put in, but then it just became more highlighted, like naturally highlighted. And now I just have this color.
Do you ever wonder why
Beautiful.
babies have such big eyes?
Wow.
Like, 'cause- No, I just realized because like I was thinking, okay, sorry, that was a bit of a jump, but I was initially thinking about eye color because you were mentioning a hair color, and then like blue eye color, Western side and blue hair. Oh, Eleanor's eye color is so pretty, and then that jumped to like why babies have big
Wide eyes.
Wide.
Is it because I don't know? Do you know? Light?
My theory is like I don't think
Something like that?
eyeballs themselves grow in size. Our head does. So
Oh,
I'm
right, okay.
assuming that like our eyeballs are the same size as they were when we were babies. So
That's a
when we
really
grew up,
interesting thought.
our eyes shrunk, obviously, because like, because we grow and, our proportions change, but our eyeballs stay the same. So it just kind of gets covered up
I
as we
love how this
grow.
is
These are the
Sue's
types.
theory.
Yeah,
It's a
just
theory.
FYI, we do have more intellectual conversations rather than why are babies' eyes big and do they stay the same size?
I thought you were going to say because they don't have any eyebrows. And
Oh,
so there's
wait,
like an
babies
optical
don't have
illusion there.
eyebrows?
Well, sometimes but they're very fair, right? Very fair. I didn't have any hair till I was about 3. People thought I had cancer.
Oh
So,
no.
Yeah.
Wait, so your hair, you didn't have hair until you were 3.
Yeah. Mum took me to get my first shoes and didn't have any hair and people thought I was ill.
Oh my gosh. 3
But
though.
look at me now.
You got lush hair.
Yeah, ruining your
interesting.
hair. But
So what would happen? What would
Okay,
happen
well,
if
where was my intervention?
what about like if you ever want to get rid of the dreads? Do you just
can
cut it
brush them
out?
No, well, you can cut them out, but you can brush them out. Yeah, you can brush them out. Just takes ages. So.
get some shampoo and conditioner on it.
I cannot
Wow.
imagine how curly it will be when it's off
I
dreads.
think it would just be straight. One day I'll probably
No,
will
I
have to
highly
get
doubt it.
I don't know. Some of it will come out just naturally because there'll be dead bits. So, but I don't know. Hey, I might have to get rid of them at some point. So, I'm just making the most of my 20s, man.
Why would you ever
Mhm.
get rid of it? Like, do you think you're gonna if you were to have like a wedding now, would you get rid of your dreads?
No.
No.
Oh, you would have your dreads through your wedding.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Part of me.
Would it be like I'm just trying to imagine Abby's wedding because
Please tell me
like
about
I wouldn't
it.
be surprised if you were wearing jeans. Like
Probably
wedding-y
not.
jeans. Okay. Sorry, that
But
maybe
would you
that was
wear
a bit too
Would
far.
you wear a dress, Abby?
I think I would actually. Yeah. I think I would.
Gee,
Yeah.
Interesting.
I
This
think
is
so.
actually. Oh, go on.
Someone tried to think that who was it? Was it Melissa? Someone said that they pictured me getting married in like a wetsuit. I was like, where did that come from? I mean, I love wetsuits, but man, have you tried spending like 2 minutes in that without being in the water? It's very hot.
That's a bizarre setting to imagine a wedding in.
I was having this conversation actually with my flatmate yesterday, and we were talking about would you keep your name when you get married, like your maiden name,
the last
or would
name,
or would you change your name to your
That's
husband's
not a
name?
thing in
Or-
Korea. That's not a thing. We
No,
don't.
yeah, Sue, you said it's different over there, didn't you?
No, we don't adopt our husbands or wives or
Names.
whatever equivalent of a life partner.
Wow.
Their last name when we get married. We don't get it. I think
Oh.
we do like in our passports, maybe like it says my name, like my maiden name or my original name, whatever, and then in parentheses that says like spouse of Lee or
Right.
spouse of Cho or whatever.
I think I remember you saying that. Yeah, I thought that was
Yeah.
fascinating.
But we
What-
don't
what would you
adopt
do,
it
though?
legally.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Like if I were to marry you, Eleanor, I wouldn't be called Sue Smith.
Let's not rule it
Sue and
out.
Smith. We wouldn't. Yeah. But
It
would
would just be Sue
would
and
you
Lee.
adopt it? Because you guys still do, right? You guys still get
Yeah,
your
I was having this conversation. The more and more I think about it, like when I was younger, like way younger, I was like, yeah, of course. Why wouldn't you want to adopt your husband's name or partner's name, whoever? But now the older I get, I'm like, oh no, Smith. I'm a Smith. Like that is my name. Like that is my like identity. And I don't know. Now I'm more unsure. I think I would probably at the moment like keep my maiden name for work, and then anything legal use my husband's name. But because for me, like my work is my, identifiable space. So I would find it, and especially if you've worked up a reputation or whatever in the industry, I feel like it's like when a teacher changes their surname and then you can't, it's really hard to think of them as that other person. Or
has that ever happened to you guys?
Different person.
Yeah, it's happened to me.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think I definitely keep my maiden name for work, and then see what happens. I think I
Yeah.
would want to take my husband's name for like personal legal things.
What
but,
if
like,
you marry somebody who's got the same last name as you? How does
Bingo.
that work?
oh yeah, great.
Oh,
Just
is it like
same.
nothing changes?
Yeah,
No.
no.
Imagine if it was like Smythe. There's just one letter difference, and that would be
Oh,
fun.
so close.
I'd be getting him to change his surname.
Smythe.
I think I would. I'm not a fan of Burkett. Like I think it's a little bit
Really, I think
vanilla.
it's unique. I think it's nice. Burkett.
But yeah, but
Yeah.
don't you? It's not necessarily the name, but don't you like identify with Burkett? Like I identify with Smith, and Smith is quite a
Common,
like
yeah.
a common last name. But I really like I'm a Smith, like I'm a
Yeah, Burkett. I guess so, but I don't know. I think it depends what my husband's name would be. If it was not a great name, I'd be like, you know what? I think it's time to just
I'm gonna
get my
pass.
own name.
Yeah.
But if it's like a badass name like Dangerfield or something, oh,
What? Is that an actual
Don't know.
last name?
if you
yeah,
if you
Dangerfield.
okay.
yeah.
Wow, that
Dangerfield.
sounds edgy as frick.
Or like
Danger
I don't
freak.
know, something funky.
Dangerfield. Or like
yeah.
Square Pants.
yeah.
Oh
If it
man,
was
that's such a
actually-
cool last name.
Yeah, it
Sue
is, isn't it?
or,
Spun- Sue Square
or
Pants.
Aragon Abbey. Or
Aragon.
I can't believe I'm
Wait,
so
I thought
proud
that was
of
a
you,
first
Elle.
name.
It is, but I don't care. I was
It really
just
changed
mentioning
me.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, are you proud? That's the only reference
Yeah,
I
proud of you.
can really think of. But
Very proud.
yeah, Abbey Aragon, that would be quite a nice.
Abii Aragon.
That sounds quite nice.
Underhill. Abigail Underhill.
I prefer to be Overhill. Underhill, you're like.
Midhill.
Yeah, they were a family of undertakers, weren't they? Oh,
Well,
Well,
good times, guys.
Yeah, good chat.
You know,
sesh, guys.
I really do have to thank you guys for, just, being here with me. I was having a bit of a low day today, so this really helps.
that's all right. man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
we
all
needed
right.
this.
I knew it.
I needed this.
Yeah, I knew it would help. I feel like, not to go back over the whole 2 hours of our conversation, but I think it's, it always helps when you see fresh faces in this
Yeah.
case. and
Yeah.
it's
But
all good.
man, I really want to just see you guys in person and just like have a
Yeah.
drink or whatever.
Ditto.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
Fingers crossed.
Well,
We will.
Yeah,
we
we
will,
will.
man.
Yeah, we will. Okay.
Yeah. I needed this as well.
Yeah, I
our
think we
time
all
will
just kind
come,
of
guys, where we're all
will.
reunited.
let's do this again sometime soon.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
let's do this. Was fun.
We should do a part 2.
Part 2 of
Clifton Gown. Is this
Well,
what it's
like,
called?
I don't know,
Clifton Gown?
but I feel like that's gonna give away our address.
Oh shit! Yeah, no.
But no,
Well,
that's
it's fine, we
no
don't
longer
live there
our
anymore.
or that's
Yeah,
no longer our address. So that doesn't really give off
Yeah,
anything. But
fine.
just to protect Tammy. Okay.
Tammy's great.
Okay. I'm gonna go have dinner now, which I kind of
Yeah.
didn't have. And yeah, thanks guys.
Love
Bye,
you all.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.